Welcome back to our program. The summer saga that is Brett Favre continues. Unfortunately, this soap opera is really starting to look more like a rerun. He has been flirting about yet another comeback, this time with the Minnesota Vikings. Favre acknowledged he's running out of time to decide whether he will play for the Vikings this season or not. The quarterback said that he would give the Vikings an answer on whether he will play by July the 30th. That's just the start of training camp. Favre has been working out with a high school football team in Mississippi so far this summer. Now, here is what the Vikings All-Pro defensive end Jared Allen had to say about Favre joining the team. Quote, "If we get Brett, then that's a bonus. But let's either get it done or get moving on with it or let it go. It's not so much that it's a distraction because we're all professionals. And if we don't really buy into that, but it's annoying. Let's put it that way."
Ward and Holmes are both lined up to the right side. Miller slot left. Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
That was Ben Roethlisberger, as we all know, winning his second Super Bowl championship with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His success can be attributed to our next guest. We welcome to the set one of the premier quarterback coaches in the world. A graduate of Wilson High School, he led his team to 3 Los Angeles City championships with a record of 39-1. He later was a 3-year starter at Stanford and played in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. He is the president of and senior instructor of the Steve Clarkson Academy for Football Quarterbacks. We also welcome Steve. This is like a who's who with you. You know what? Thank you for coming. I know you know myself, and you know Steve for a long time. And, it's really good when you see someone from the area to do well. But a question that people may have for you is, you went undrafted.
Yes.
You played 1 year in Denver.
Not even that.
Not even that. Okay. Then you went to the Canadian Football League.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were involved with a restaurant.
Yes.
Okay. How did all of that get you to the point now to whereas you are one of the top guru quarterbacks in not only for college, but for the pros?
Well, call it fate. I had a kid named Perry Klein who approached me back in the days, back in 1986, actually. His dad was looking for a Pop Warner coach for his Westside Bruins Pop Warner program, and he happened to call me and asked me if I was interested. I said no. He said, "Aren't you the same Steve Clarkson that played at San Jose State for Jack Elway?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I watched you and battle John for 3 years, and he only beat you once, but me and my son really enjoyed watching you play, and he's actually thinking about playing quarterback this year, and I was wondering if you could spend some time with him and tell me what you think." And the rest is history. I was working at Black Angus Restaurants at the time. I was a general manager there for about 18 stores, and I took a leave of absence, and I never went back. So I'm sure there's a...
I don't blame you. I wouldn't go back either. But when you saw that touchdown pass by Roethlisberger, I mean, you really had to feel a sense of, I helped him to do that.
Well, look, Ben was pretty talented when I got to him, and there's not a whole lot that you can take from that. The guy's an incredible ball player. Playing at the biggest stage, and Santana Moss was also, Santonio Holmes, I should say, was also a phenomenal ball player in that game, and Ben's just a special player.
You know, Steve, when we talk about quarterbacks, again, I think maybe people are wondering what it is that Steve Clarkson does with these quarterbacks. Is there something that successful quarterbacks have in common that you search for or that you teach? I mean, exactly what are your methods to improve them as quarterbacks?
You ask the same question my mother asks all the time. Her friends say, what is it that your son does? And it's really a gift, really. I mean, each kid that I come across, there's just something that intrigues me about him. And a lot of times it's usually just how they carry themselves when they're not even having the football in their hands. It's just how they interact with their classmates, their teammates. Just in general, you just look for that certain it. And then the rest is easy, what their work ethic is, what their parents are like. And obviously you want the measurables, you want them to be a certain size, you'd love them to have an arm, but it's not necessary, that's for sure. But they're just little nuances that you look for and you try to pick up on, and you try to find out what's the best way to make these kids, consistent and take what they do best and just let them do that all the time and do it consistently well.
Well, keeping that in mind, what is it that intrigues you about Matt Leinart?
Well, he's played at a high level for a long period of time. He went to Mater Dei High School where they do an outstanding job, and there's many quarterbacks that have come out of there. Most recently Matt Barkley, before that Colt Brennan, and of course Matt. It really there's something about kids like that that come from programs like that. When they come to college, they're just prepared to play. Guys like myself who do this as a business, when we can work hand in hand with a particular high school, it really enhances their chances of being successful at the next level.
But what have you done, or what are you trying to do that's going to make Matt a better player for the Cardinals next year?
Well, the biggest thing with Matt is just trying to work on the little things. I remember learning way back in the day when Magic Johnson was coming out of Michigan State, and he was noted for not having a great jump shot. And so I remember he spent a whole year working on a jump shot. And with Matt Leinart and anybody that I work with, I try to tell each one of these guys, take one thing that you can improve on every year and just focus in on that. And if you can get that down, then each time it just becomes a little bit easier for you to be a better quarterback.
I have that same theory about golf, but it doesn't work.
Doesn't quite work. Yeah. Now, one time that I remember meeting Steve was at the press box in the Rose Bowl, and I was introduced to a very young Jimmy Clausen. I know the Clausen family, of course, Rick and Casey, his older brothers, but I remember you telling me at the time, and everybody saying, this kid is really something special. He had a spectacular high school career at Oaks Christian, and now everyone's expecting this to be the year at Notre Dame. Tell us how he's grown since getting to South Bend.
Well, I think the biggest thing is they've grown around him. He went in with a lot of hype, obviously. I think I was the one that coined him if there were a LeBron James in football, it would be Jimmy Clausen, just because of the publicity that surrounded him. But you know, the Notre Dame team that he walked into was very young. I think they started, 18 freshmen when he was there, and they've grown together. I can easily see this as a 10-win season for him. I think they're that talented, and I think they're going to give people a lot to look forward to, for sure.
Now, in this area, you know, Trojan fans, although he's at UCLA, so you know about that. Everyone knows about Matt Barkley going to USC. You have been working with him. What is it you like about him? What is it you think he needs to improve upon? And just your overall thoughts on this young man and his future in collegiate football.
Well, I think the biggest thing is for him to have patience. I mean, this is no longer high school. It's not modern day. Although it was a great stepping stone for him and a great solid base for him to learn, he's got obviously a wonderful coach in Pete Carroll, and Coach Bates will take him under his wings, and he'll learn from actually Aaron Corp and his contemporaries as well. But I think for him is just to have patience and to really let it come to him. Don't try to make things happen, just let it happen. As far as his ability, he really has a special gift. He's got a very, very quick release. If anything, probably just learn more of a sophisticated pass, when to, you know, put a little touch on it. But for the most part, the sky's the limit for him. He's got a very high ceiling.
So you and Pete Carroll have talked about him quite a bit.
Oh, everybody talks about Matt quite a bit.
I was just curious, though, because with Matt, I mean, he was a National High School Player of the Year as a junior. Never happened before, and there was a lot of hype going into that senior year, and early on struggled, you know, forcing passes, a lot of interceptions. Some people were even questioning some of his conditioning. Talk about how he emerged from that, what he went into going into his senior high school, and how he came out the other end.
Well, there are a lot of circumstances that happened. I mean, obviously, as a junior, he had a little bit more talent, a little bit more senior-oriented class that was surrounding him. His senior year, a lot of youngsters were there, people learning the offense. He had one skilled receiver who was a sophomore at the time, and they had actually changed up the offense just a tad. They put Matt in the shotgun a little bit. And some of those surroundings for him were just a little bit unfamiliar for him. But I think, you know, people tend to look from the outside and say, well, what happened? The guy's, you know, 4 interceptions this game, 3 the next. The offense actually changed where, because of his arm, and sometimes you get excited about a talent like that, you want to do more instead of just what works. And so they had him throwing the ball 22, 25 yards down the field. Your margin of error is so much greater, and chances are you're going to have deflections and things of that nature, and you end up throwing more interceptions.
So there are good things in store for the Trojans with him at quarterback.
There's no question. But like I said, there's a long way to go. He's still got to, you know, get on the field, and they're very, very talented there. Steve,
thank you. We appreciate you coming by. Good luck to you. And for people who are interested in getting in touch with you, you have you know, football camps all over the country. But you were just in Maui.
Yeah, we had a tremendous time there. I tell you, anybody that's interested in a great time, just mark down your calendar, 4th of July week. Because we are there every 4th of July week, and you can get a hold of me at steveclarksondreammaker.com.
Dreammaker. And in your instance, dreams do come true for these young guys.
We try to make that happen.
Yeah, Steve, thank you so much. Congratulations, and thanks for everything you've done for our young people.
Thank you.